We are 50 days out from the election, and San Francisco voters have a big decision to make. Do they give Mayor Breed more time or put someone else in charge of City Hall? So here's a look at the top candidates. All week, we'll be asking them why you should give them your vote. We start today with former interim Mayor Mark Farrell. He was raised in San Francisco, and our Lauren Toms caught up with him at his old high school a few days ago to talk about what's motivating him in this race.
Ready for some football.
It's not just election season for mayoral candidate Mark Farrell, but almost as important, it's also the start of football season.
So we are headed out to St. Ignatius in the Sunset, where our son Jack is going to be a junior this year, and he's playing on the football team. Look, regardless of the sport, the point is for us as parents is to be super engaged with our kids. And sports is a big way to do that, certainly if you have the ability and the time to coach.
This is a drive Mark and his wife Liz have made hundreds of times from their home to St. Ignatius, where not only his kids go to school, but he went to high school.
I'm a dad first, period. And if you ask me what's the most important thing I do in life, what's the thing I enjoy doing the most in life, it's being a dad.
Stepping back onto his old stomping grounds, he's reminded of his time playing football on the very field he watches his son Jack play today.
Playing on the field that I played on and going to some of the same classrooms, absolutely, it's bizarre. Honestly, it's just a source of pride in our kids that they're doing their own things. They're much better athletes than I ever was, without a doubt. Probably got it from their mom.
Sports and parenting go hand in hand in the Farrell house, coaching his kids both on and off the field. And for Mark, those lessons can be seen in his goals as candidate for mayor.
If we're going to bring our city back, if we're going to restore all the things and fix all the things that are our issues right now, we have to be honest about where we sit to really have a sustained path forward. And leadership is a big part of that. And taking that from the athletic field to City Hall, it's a very natural extension.
It's an extension he has made before as interim mayor in 2017, and after 8 years of watching from the sidelines, he's hoping to get back into the political field. But for Mark, it's his family, he says, that's brought him this far.
That a family, is such a big part of our lives and a big part of my life. And like I said, nobody's perfect. Our children aren't, I'm not, but really proud of who they are as human beings more than anything else. And again, if that's the one thing I do in life, is help be a great parent to our kids, that's life well lived.
Using that motivation to get across the finish line this fall.
So how would Farrell tackle the challenges facing San Francisco? Coming up, from crime to the drug crisis, homelessness, revitalizing downtown, and public education. He'll join us live to talk about his plans to move the city forward. All week long, we're giving the top 5 candidates for San Francisco mayor a chance to make their case to voters. Our guest today is Mark Farrell. A native of San Francisco, Farrell was elected to the Board of Supervisors in 2010. He served 2 terms before leaving office in 2019. He was the city's interim mayor for 6 months in 2018 before London Breed was elected to replace Ed Lee, who died while in office. Farrell did not run in that special election, but now he has entered the race and he's joining us live. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
All right, first question. If you could pick one thing to change in San Francisco, what do you think that would be?
Look, number one, we need to bring back public safety across our city. I'm talking about in our neighborhoods, obviously down in Union Square and downtown, where our reputation has taken a massive hit over the last few years. First with that Louis Vuitton shooting a few years ago, and now unfortunately with the 49ers shooting yet again in broad daylight a few weeks ago. Public safety has to be the number one job of government. It's what I focused on when I was in City Hall before. Mayor Breed has completely failed the residents of our city over the last 6 years, and we need someone who's going to bring it back so that not only residents, but small business owners and visitors to San Francisco are safe in our own city, and we can grow from there.
Public safety, obviously, a very hot topic throughout this whole election for all the candidates. It's important to note, though, that crime numbers so far are down across the city, but it still has that reputation across the Bay Area and across the country, for that matter, as being a dangerous city. How do you change that public perception?
Well, you have a dedicated focus to public safety from day one in office. Again, that's what I did when I was in office before in City Hall, when I was budget chair and partnered with Mayor Lee, and then when I became mayor. We grew our police department to record staffing levels. And since then, Mayor Breed has let over 600 officers leave the workforce. So we're completely depleted as a police force right now in San Francisco. I believe we need a new police chief. Mayor Breed defunded the police department 3 years ago. I'm going to fully refund our police department and then bring our staffing levels back up so that we have enough officers in the streets, in our neighborhoods to protect us every single day as San Franciscans.
All right, I've lived in San Francisco for about 13 years. I'm also a mom. I've got 2 little boys. And one area that, from a parent's perspective, honestly, that hasn't really been the focus of these debates or really any candidate's campaign is public education. There's an enrollment problem, there's a teacher shortage problem, test score problem, and we're surrounded by 2 of the best universities in the world, and the people who live here are also very educated. Why has it gotten so bad, and what are you going to do to fix it?
Well, look, historically, City Hall has been very divorced from our public school system because there's a separately elected school board which runs all of the policies and all of the budget for a school district. However, I want to be the most proactive mayor in our city's history, focusing on children. And from my perspective, that comes from being born and raised in San Francisco, but also raising 3 children here. 3 things we'll do. Going to make third grade reading proficiency one of the #1 issues that we will fund out of City Hall and our Department of Early Childhood for our public school families. Second, mandate that our MTA work with our public school district to make sure that the bus routes and bus frequency, especially in the morning, is there to support our families. A social contract with public school families. If you get your kid to the bus stop on time in the morning, we will get them to school in the morning. And lastly, around public safety, you know, the school district cut ties with our police department during COVID. I disagreed with that. However, outside of school grounds, I still talk with so many families that encounter tenant encampments and street behavior as their child's going into school grounds. I've committed to a priority 311 number next year. Any street behavior issue in a 1 block radius of our public schools will get knocked out in 24 hours. And that's just the beginning, because if we want San Francisco to be this iconic city in the world that we all believe it is, we need to have a great public school system.
Yeah, and I wonder if this also points to a bigger issue with prioritizing families here in San Francisco and supporting that next generation of San Franciscans. So many families I know will live here until they have kids, and then they leave because it's too expensive and they want better schools, childcare options, something more affordable. How do you make San Francisco a place where people want to stay for the long haul and a place where their kids want to stay and raise their families?
Love that question. So a few things. #1, universal childcare. I've been very public about my plans to make that a reality starting next year. The honest answer is we've been collecting taxes for years under Prop C, but this mayor has not allocated it towards universal childcare. I will do it next year. But also, we just need to have that dialogue back in City Hall about what it's like to raise a child in San Francisco, what it's like to be a kid here. You know, when I was a supervisor before, we had outdoor movie night in the Presidio because I represented District 2, you know, once a month. Literally brought out the food trucks, the big screen TVs, put on the Disney movies, had 1,000 people a month come. A great chance to build community. And when it got cold and wet, because we're San Francisco, we partnered with the YMCA and the Presidio and brought it indoors to the gym. They were such amazing partners. Such a small step, but so cheap, so easy to do. We should be doing that in every neighborhood in San Francisco every single month. Programs like that to really focus on families and family life in our city, what it's like to be a kid, again, using every ounce of open space in San Francisco that we can. To me, that's a priority in City Hall as well.
All right, I want to switch gears and talk about downtown. Really still struggling with empty office buildings, empty storefronts. How are you going to make downtown San Francisco a more vibrant hub for the Bay Area and convince businesses to bring their workers back, if you do indeed think that that's the secret to bringing back a vibrant downtown?
Absolutely, I do. So first and foremost, we focus on public safety and clean streets. And by that, I mean our homeless and the tenant encampments and the fentanyl crisis that is really disrupting our city right now. We do that, all of a sudden we create an environment where employers might want to come back to San Francisco. And I saw that clip. We can put on APEC, we can put on Dreamforce, and thank goodness we're doing that. We should have those conditions on our streets every single day. It's not an excuse just because a convention comes to town that we need to have clean streets and safe streets. We need to do that every day for San Francisco residents. I do believe then we need to use tax incentives to get employers back to the downtown and south of Market core. We did it in the mid-2010s in the mid-market area. Under Mayor Lee's leadership, I supported it a great deal on the Board of Supervisors. We can do it again downtown. And then we need to focus on the long-term conversion from commercial to residential in the downtown core. The reality is, with the amount of office space we have, it's going to take a long, long time to get all the employers back to eat up all that square footage of office space. So we have to think bigger and bolder than City Hall is talking about today. Allow Class B, Class C buildings downtown to demo, massively upzone this part of San Francisco, already a really dense environment, and then commit to tax increment vehicles that will allow developers to actually have these projects pencil out today. We can get people back to work and build for the future of San Francisco at the same time. And I believe point towards a vision of San Francisco that's really exciting. You know, downtown is a little bit scary right now, if we're being honest, and not vibrant at all, to your point. But let's not waste the opportunity to build for the future, and a future, again, we can all get incredibly excited about.
Yeah, where do you see the city in the next 5 years or so? Realistically, what do you see that looking like?
I talk about it all the time. Why I'm running for mayor is to turn the page on Mayor Breed's failed leadership and write the next chapter of San Francisco that we can all believe in. And for me, my vision of San Francisco is a city that is safe, a city with clean sidewalks, a city with a thriving economy, growing neighborhoods and small businesses in our commercial corridors. And as we talked about earlier, finally, again, a focus on families. That to me is a vision for San Francisco that everybody can get excited about. And what we need is a mayor who's going to be a true leader. Articulate a vision for San Francisco, obviously have success, make progress towards that vision. Then everybody in our city is rowing on the same oar. All of a sudden we have safety back, we have clean streets back. All of a sudden our economy is humming again. And then San Francisco can fulfill that promise that we, again, believe it to be this iconic city in the world.
All right, Mark Farrell, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And again, we'll be talking with San Francisco's mayoral candidates all week long. Tomorrow, our guest will be incumbent Mayor London Breed. And we'll be right back. Hi, thanks so much for watching. To view more content like this, we've selected some videos that we think you'll enjoy. And don't forget to like or click that button here on the bottom left of your screen to subscribe.